Huh? Now I wait to see what the hell we're doing. Slide right up. It's not the one we called up, is it? Man, that'd take a while. And this is how you come down. Okay, here we go again. What day is it today? It's Thursday. Thursday the 30th, right? Thursday the 30th of May. Another day. What am I doing today? I'm getting my Zodiac ready to go. Gas jugs ready to go. Some other gear ready to go. I'm going to help a guy get a big bear with his bow and arrow, probably, hopefully, possibly. Go catch some fish. Make some videos. Take everybody with me. What else am I doing today? I'm doing trimming all the horses' feet today. And on and on. Now, daydreaming away lately. Actually, I've daydreamed about this one for quite some time. How I thought about this one before I start sharing these emails right away. The number of the beast. The number of the beast. Sometimes I wonder if possibly our social insurance number or your social security number is the actual number of the beast. I'm getting more and more convinced of that. What do you guys think? Throw it down in the comment section below. what you actually think. If there is a, quote, number of the beast, end quote, what do you think it is? Besides the alleged tattoo 666 on the head of the devil himself, or whatever it is, devil spawn. But I got a funny feeling that the social insurance number, or what in the United States is a social security number, I have a strong feeling those are the numbers of the beast myself, if there is one. You know, we're the only species on the face of the planet that pays money to live. What's up with that? Thought for the day. Okay, listen to this. This is titled First Story. Hey, Steve, I have a lot to say. But it would be an edit nightmare to try explaining it all. So, I'm going to keep it monotone, or simple. Back in 2015, on the way to Florence, Oregon from Eugene, Oregon, we saw a traffic jam up ahead by the tunnel. I'll include pics as to what tunnel. But it is in the woods, really, and these woods are known as Sasquatch country. In these woods, there is no magnetic field. Compass do not work. Loggers do not cut. And people get lost. Really. It's a local unwritten law. We don't go in there. But if you do, you might get lost and not come out. But many do. And don't have problems. Others do and run away scared. They hear the knocking, the screams, etc., etc. I know the closest landmark to the action is Coyote Creek. Anyway, we come driving to the tunnel and people are parked and it's a mess. You can drive through, but the attraction is pulling as they are. Cars, people, and an officer in a police car are all looking up at the cliff that goes upward from the east side of the tunnel. We pull over too. I'm with a woman. She's asking what I see. We stop. So we stop and look. And above us is a Sasquatch, plain as day, climbing the sheer, man-made cobblestone wall. Granted, we get there at the end of it. He's close to the top. I could not see details like the others did who were there 10 minutes or more, and told me later what they saw. The whole event, from what I'm told later, took 30 minutes or so. Holy. Anyway, he has a compound fracture. Leg twisted backwards, bone obvious. Femur or upper leg bone sticking out. He's slowly trying to reach the top with one leg in his arms. It does not look good. Like he is not going to make it and fall. Long story short, he does make it. And that's it. Gone. Everybody is in shock. The cop moves us out. I spoke to one family. They told me they saw him closer to the bottom and described his leg and his face. He was in shock. Funny to me, people say the Sasquatches can do things like paranormal or invisibility. Not this one. He was, to me, a regular animal at the mercy of his own fall. He got hurt. He climbed back up. There was no way out for him. If he didn't, he would have been in the gully surrounded by houses and people. I'm not sure what's up that cliff, but he made a choice and made it and disappeared, and that's it. Whoa! Isn't that crazy? We haven't heard that yet from any of the other people, if there's that many people there. Or maybe they'll share now, but that'd be a tough one to be motivated to keep secret because there's so many witnesses. Maybe if somebody that was there wants to chime in. Crazy. That's my best story. I have 25 or more. Other bits are really strange ones. From Oregon, others from Maine. But these, and you could use these, there's periods all over the place. And you could use them. Because from what you say, you are looking for the hardball players. LOL. Okay, pal, I've exposed myself. Here. I may be on the list. They hate me. I have issues. As in, okay, a gang stalked. I have experience with people. Can read them. Can sense things. Tested this. Man, oh man, there's a period after every third word. The stories I have are insane, and persons into it insaner. I feel UFOs and portals and orbs are normal. Bigfoot normal. What I am terrified of is humans. They take the conspiracies as if they are gaining knowledge for power. Here, and I want nothing more than to move an off-grid location here, because as it is right now, I am every day almost having a stranger take a picture of my house or back door or me, and I'm not confrontational, shy. I confront and put them in shock. Covert narcissists hate being called out, and I call. And even today, I had to go get out to get coffee. It was like I'm in a gangland with a few friends in between my path. I'm okay so far, and no, I don't drink or use any drugs at all. I use coffee. Also, to be blunt, I'd like to move to where you are and work for you, if you should ever arrive. If it ever should arrive as an idea, I need a friend like you. Fast. I've got a lot to offer. Trained in all weapons and survival. I'm calm, I have respect, and techie, and I can do a lot. Not like the usual. I'm a lot like some of your buddies I see you sit with. I am alone, no circle. They all went into some weird frenzy of I don't know what. I refuse to follow, and I'm blacklisted. I'm really an artist by trade. Nobody will buy my work now because of this. Eugene, Oregon is a small town, a large spiritual community that has connections not only to every corner of Oregon, as far as Texas and Idaho. Yeah, I'm surrounded. Such is the life of a monk needing a cave on a mountain. Oh, and there is a huge other factor I do not say anymore. All right. That's a different email. Sounds freaking crazy, but here's the picture of the tunnel. And I don't need anybody. I'm not hiring anybody right now myself, but thanks for the offer. We'll see if anybody else has something to chime in about that one specific incident with this alleged being with a compound fracture going up the wall. That'd be pretty crazy. Would it not? Something else. Something else. Not the first time I've heard about one of these beings being wounded, though. There's a guy that wrote in, the military guy. No, was he military? I forget. From Chilliwack Lake, and he was out there, and I've been to exactly where he was talking about. And there was one of these beings was screaming at him from the sandbar next to shore, and its one arm was hanging limp, like he was wounded. And they got the Bosberg cripple footprint where somebody stuffed one with the car and they tracked it and his bones were broken in his foot and there was blood. Okay, this is titled Response to a Letter Read on May 29th. Dear Stephen, use my name. My name is Daniel Duke. I'm a retired correctional officer as well as computer IT specialist. I've been a hunter in 3 states all my life, Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. I've not seen Sasquatch myself, but I'm certain it does exist. This is in response to a letter that you read where a man had put so much effort into figuring all this out. I agree with everything he said. That'll be Robert Duvall's email. And taken into account Dr. Melba Ketchum DNA results. That come to my puzzle pieces pretty much. I have a long history of being a Bible student, having seen Christianity being the only thing that truly changes the hearts of bad men in prison. When I saw the supernatural change that only occurs when a person accepts Jesus Christ, and yet there were many religions being practiced. To me, it was a no-brainer that Christianity held the answers. In fact, Christianity is not a religion, it's a reality. I believe there was at least 3 instances where these beings or sky people created hybrids from men. This comes from the Bible, and the first one being in Genesis, and the second one after the flood, and the third one, and these last days that we live in now. I do not believe that the sky people are extraterrestrials, but rather interdimensional beings. Another thing to consider, when the Sabes pass through portals or disappear entirely, they are not going to heaven. For it is written, flesh and blood cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. So they may be spirit and flesh, but the flesh cannot enter heaven. Excuse me. So, they're going somewhere else. Perhaps they have access to another dimension themselves. Whatever they are not what God planned. They are the product of demonic experimentation with human physical DNA. I myself have seen a craft fly over my head, completely silent and close enough that I could look up and see that it was metal. The color of a shiny brass bed. I don't know what was driving it, but on the same road, the backwoods, my ex-wife claimed to see one of these creatures, and nobody believed her. But I believe that she indeed seen it. Mankind is very special as far as we are created in the image of God. Our flesh was corrupted in the garden when Satan brought death into this world, and it was necessary for Jesus to save us out of this corrupted flesh. This is why we will get a new body after we die and our spirits go to heaven. The new body will be created out of celestial matter, whereas we are created from the earth now. Terrestrial matter. We are the original flesh man. Perhaps that's why the Saba hate us. So we find ourselves in the last generation. It started in 1948 when Israel became an established nation again. It's also when the term flying saucer was coined, and we started having more and more visitations ever since. The last generation unfolds like a woman having birth pains. It gets faster and faster and more intense until the birth is done. Things get crazier and crazier and go downhill, and morality gets worse until the false Jesus comes to deceive the world. All the weird world events, weird space events, all end up being confusion. Confusion and the lack of truth is what ends this generation. The Antichrist will come and deceive everyone because no one knows any better. Then finally the true Christ returns. This begins a new generation where there is no more flesh. The last generation ends in the birth of a new age. I know it's a lot to take in, but I feel honestly that this is how things are going to go, and your efforts uncovered so much of my puzzle. And it all ties into Scripture. Thank you, Steve. The sky people are not our friends. May God bless you and keep you safe all the days of your life. Take care. Daniel C. Duke, retired IT specialist. All right, Daniel. Thanks for your input. Take from what you will or leave it, you guys. Nothing we haven't heard yet in there. We're going to see what's going to come, right? Obviously, shit is going crazy right now, without a doubt, and it cannot get much more insane. Well, I guess it probably could, but it's really, really getting out of hand across the board, right? Next one is titled, Where is the New Colt? Hi, Steve. Thanks again for your platform, for me to share my life experiences with the people. This one happened when I lived in Tennessee. I had a sorrel mare due any day to deliver a new addition in my new barn at the top of a hill overlooking the river. There was a cave between the barn and the river that had a spring flowing out with a waterfall that helped add to the fresh, clean river. Tater Cave had been used for years by early people or root crop storage, and near the rear was a natural chimney hole which I had T-posts and barbed wire to keep it safe on the hillside. One morning, I woke and found the mare making a huge ruckus and went to the barn to check her out. And I found her. The afterbirth and no colt. The gate had a gap about 18 to 20 inches at the bottom. I immediately set out to locate the new baby, looking everywhere with no success. And I heard a calm voice say, "The cave. Check the cave," in my mind. About a 20-foot plus drop to the bottom. I climbed down the bluff, got to the bench where the cave opening was, and went in, and sure enough, there lay the colt motionless in the cold spring water. I just knew he was dead, but to my amazement when I touched him, he looked up at me like, "Mommy?" I snatched him up, took him the long way around, and back to the barn where his mom was, delighted, and he immediately stood and went in for his colostrum. It actually brought tears to my eyes, as I had expected a coyote bear or the fall to have taken him. Then I heard, "He'll be fine." Wow, just wow. I went to the bluff and shouted, "Thank you." And I got 2 tree knocks in return. What? Some are good and some are bad. Thank God for that one. The colt grew to 50.5 hands, bright copper with a blazed face, gated too. Lived to 29 years old and I miss him now. Someone said there is something about the outside of a horse that is good for the inside of a man, and they are right. Dave Abbott, yes, they are right. They are right about that. Isn't that bizarre, isn't it? I go up and hug my horses all the time. Feels good. It's like instantly grounds you. It's kind of weird. That's a crazy-ass story. So crazy. I wonder what happened. Huh. Unreal. All right, what do we got here? Here's another one. Mark, this is red. Crazy ass story, man. New information that I heard that I never heard shared. Why You Don't Get Away Once Captured is the title of this email. Hi, Steve. I currently live in Lakemont, Georgia, which is the northeast corner of the state. My home is against the Chattahoochee and Oakley forests. I haven't had any contact while living here yet, but can feel that it is coming. I'm not far from where Scott Carpenter did his research. So I have so much to share about a lifetime of paranormal experiences that is going to be hard to get it all into one email. How long is this sucker? It's a long one. All right, I'm going in. This includes UFO encounter / experiencer, multiple paranormal experiences, and a lifetime of research into all of it. I'm now 63 years old and ready to talk because I don't give a darn what people think of what I share anymore. One of the benefits that come with getting older. So this email I will share my first Sasquatch experience and follow up with another email with a story that will include photographs and video evidence. I have video of them as orbs. All right, looking forward. Here's my challenge to you. So far, everyone that promises this stuff never delivers. You might be the first. First, let me start by saying that I was born in Northeast Ohio, where many of them are seen. They are called the grass man mostly in that area, and also Bigfoot. The camera's slipping down, isn't it? For as long as I can remember, I've had psychic ability. I bring this up for a reason that I will get into later in the email. Bracket. Also, I had a NDE at 1 year old from pneumonia, as I was told by my mother. She said that I was different after that. Talked to people not there, etc. End bracket. Add that to your research. I thought that everyone saw the things that I saw, and I had the abilities that I did. I've heard that sentence a few times over the years. The reason that I bring this up is that I have discovered that Sasquatch is very much a spiritual being as well as a physical being. That's actually without a doubt at this stage of the game. This is why they can't be seen by many people. When you have psychic abilities, it's almost like you are a light bulb that attracts them to you, like moths to a flame. I've had other people that study this topic reinforce this opinion too. From my research and encounters, what I have learned is that they are telepathic, mind speak, interdimensional, and can disappear / appear right in front of you. Can control their body temperatures, such as the Tummo practices of the Tibetan monks. They are ancient and live to be hundreds of years old. There are good and bad ones, and they can become orbs of light that go interdimensional with a popping sound, and can come right into your home this way. Just to name a few abilities. Still not sure if they are descendants of Nephilim, but seem to have the abilities that you would expect a fallen angel offspring to possess. However, this would not explain why some are good, as you would think anything Nephilim is of evil and thereby not good. So my personal opinion is that they are a species of earth guardians some might call the Watchers, that have been present since the beginning. This would explain some of the divine abilities that they command. Still also having a hard time wrapping my head around why even the good ones are so scary sometimes. These are the things that make you go, Well, this email's already getting long, so let me get to the first encounter. This encounter happened on a Friday afternoon in August of 2004. I was on a boat owned by a good friend. Bracket, I have included a hand-drawn layout of the boat marina to help make sense of the story. We had the boat docked and we were cooking out on a small grill that was on the walkway of the dock while playing music. Her boat slip was number 5. We were laughing and joking. While dancing around in bathing suits, as we pretty much had the area where the boat is docked to ourselves, her boat slip was located off of a small peninsula that you need to take a barge/raft shuttle over to from the main marina. The back of this peninsula abutted a large cornfield/farm with the best sweet corn you ever tasted that was ready to be harvested. At the entrance to this section of dock was an old apple tree, just ripe with apples that were so good, and deer everywhere. So in this instance, what we probably saw was a Sasquatch/grassman that had migrated through this area for years, knowing this time of year had good abundant food sources. There are stories going back at least 100 years of what they called the Berlin Monster. As the lake we were on was the Berlin Reservoir, I include on the picture that there was a bridge that goes over Bedell Road, just about a half a mile east of where we had our sighting. There was a previous encounter with someone about 10 years ago that reported that they saw a Sasquatch cross the road about 7:30 p.m. with a live deer over his shoulder. One thing they mentioned is that the deer did not have any feet attached, as though something they had just been twisted off. As though something, sorry, that's what it's how it's spelled. I never heard anyone mention this in the videos on your channel, but I think this is one way that they capture something, that it is prevented from getting away. That'd be kind of creepy. I don't know if I've ever heard about that one. They rip legs off for sure, but just not killing them and twisting feet off so they can't get away? Don't know. It also brings to mind stories I've read about shoes with feet/leg bones being discovered in the Vancouver, British Columbia coastal area beaches. It's hard to run with no feet. Yeah, there was a lot of feet that washed up on the shore on the beaches right over here. One runner with a foot in it. Not both feet, always just one runner, 1 foot in it, and multiple for a couple years there. It was bizarre. No answers came of it. The story fizzled away, as usual. Anyway, while we were eating, we started noticing rocks hitting the dock. They progressively got bigger, and my friend thought maybe it was her son doing this. He was known to be a big practical joker, and we thought that maybe he had come out to mess with us. She yelled out, "Stop throwing those rocks before you hit the boat." My friend is the type of woman you listen to when she yells at you. So the rocks stopped, and then we could see a very large pine tree just being violently shaken. It was at least 50 feet tall, and we could hear something growling really loud and deep. The kind of subsonic growl that you feel as well as hear, like a lion at the zoo makes. This made both of us pause, and we unhooked the boat, getting ready to head out into the water if needed. While I was looking at the tree, I saw what looked like a large, pixelated figure, at least 8 to 10 feet tall. All that I could think of is the Predator movie when it would cloak. The strange thing was that my friend could not see this. I have since over the years heard of other people mentioning this phenomenon. I also had this unexplainable urge to go to the apple tree that was at the entrance to our dock. I almost did, but somehow managed to shake out of what I felt a little like a trance before I got out of the boat. It also helped that my friend who saw me going to get out of the boat said, quote, "What in the hell are you doing? Don't get out of the boat. You don't know what's out there." By this point, it was getting a little dark, so we decided to call it a day. My friend called the marina and told them what was going on, and the owner, who was a veteran, sent a couple of his dock hands over to the peninsula/island where we were to check things out. They came to the dock entrance and waved to us to come up. There's a small trail that went through some trees to where you take the barge/shuttle across the little inlet river. And to our amazement, there was a large tree bent over the trail. They asked us if that was there when we came out, and we told them no. You had to climb through the branches to continue on the trail. They were discussing that they were going to have to come back with a chainsaw to get the tree out of the way. One said he wasn't coming. Well, it was dark, almost like he knew something. There was a very creepy, ominous presence as we were heading back. The most amazing part of the story was the very next day, the local paper, the Warren Tribune, had a picture that taken by the farmer that lived at the cornfield next to his peninsula on the page of the Saturday Society section, showing an 8 to 10 foot Sasquatch walking through his cornfield. Mind you, ripe corn is anywhere from 7 to 8 feet tall in August. The picture showed a black grassman / Sasquatch, and the corn only reached shoulder height on it. It had a typical cone-shaped head that sat right on large trapezoid neck / shoulders, and it had to be 5 to 6 feet wide at the shoulders. I'd cut out the article showing it to a friend while riding on the boat the very next day. We told another friend about our encounter, and they wanted to go back out to see if we could see it again. She lost her grip on the article as the boat was moving fast. I thought, that's okay, I'll just get another one from the newspaper's archives. And guess what? When I went to search for it, that was the only day missing in their archives of newspaper. Of course. I also went that Sunday, when we came back from boating, to a local convenience store where a relative worked and asked if she had copies of the Saturday paper, and she said no. And that it was strange that the paper delivery guy came back out Saturday and said that he had to pick up all the unsold papers, even though it was still Saturday. She said he mentioned that he wasn't told why, just that the order came from very top bosses. Usually they put any unsold papers in the back, and they're picked up with the next delivery. Yep, I wonder how long it took these deep state idiots to contact the office and tell them they aren't allowed to share this stuff. Probably the same reason that when I had a UFO come over my house in the same area in 1974, that was witnessed by 9 people, including police, it wasn't allowed to make the newspaper. Plus, once I became a MUFON investigator years later, and I tried to find a copy of the police report, that I could not find one. I could not find one had ever been filed. I was permitted to research in the box that would have been the month / day of the sighting. Nothing. Can you imagine? This is the control these dark bastards have on everything. From much research and having been a MUFON investigator, hearing some inside stuff from the organization. Also, I am not a fan of MUFON. They are a 3-letter operation, just so everyone knows. Yes, MUFON takes Sasquatch reports too. I've come to believe that the bad ones are genetically made by the secret space folks that are also high-level Luciferians. These same a-holes also control the man-made UFOs and run the black op projects that exist in the underground domes. They breed them to be super soldiers, and they also work with the Draco reptilians. They come from the sky, aka the Anunnakis. Also, these beings are not extraterrestrial. They are the lizard people. They go back all the way to the beginning. They are the seed of the serpent and have space-age technology and abilities. Probably the builders of the pyramids, etc., that are found all over the world. That is why you see lizard beings on the walls of the pyramids in Egypt and Mexico / South America. The same group that some call the Illuminati control our current government and are pushing for the one world order agendas. The bad ones are dropped off by the man-made UFOs or left out of the domes and allowed to hunt, just like you would let your hunting dog out for a run. Many of these domes are located near national parks. That is why many people go missing in these areas. When a good Sasquatch runs into one of these, they will kill them, as well as the dogmen that they make. Dogman werewolves are also in the bloodline lineage of the Illuminati families. Follow the Jesse Czebotar stuff. Czebotar? Sorry guys, Czebotar stuff. She shares that George Bush Sr. was one, and that his secret security name was timber wolf. Yeah, I know. Crazy. That is why the owners will come in by black ops helicopter and do the kill raids on the good ones. There are YouTube videos where this is discussed by witnesses. One was a story told by a park ranger that witnessed a raid. You'll never have someone come forward about this. That is part of the raids, as these groups are elite, high-level, Luciferians, and some aren't even human. They are bred from birth to be in these groups, so coming forward will likely never happen, as they are usually suicided if they try to escape the system. Well, that's enough for now. I'll send another story with pictures and video next. I think there is enough to digest from this email. I waited to send this to you until I knew that you were ready to wade into the really dark, deep water. Most will think that a lot of what I have shared is the ramblings of a mad person, and that's okay. I've been studying this stuff for years and thought it sounded crazy and unbelievable when I first heard it too. Thank you for what you do. You put yourself and your family on the radar of the assholes. Sorry, this person put a-holes. I always say assholes. Sorry, whatever. Babbling. Thank you for what you do. You put yourself and your family on the radar of the a-holes with your work. Thanks for being brave enough to do it anyway. Knowledge is the key, and they can't stop all of us, right? We have the numbers. That is what they fear the most. Also, if you are a God-believing, Jesus-fearing kind of person, you have an advantage against all of this evil. You can rebuke it in His name, and it will flee. God bless you all, my fellow travelers on the road of truth. Stay frosty. All right, there you go. It's a lot to eat, but you know what? On the other hand, this has been spoken from many people. Many, many, many. Do we have any receipts? Nope. Not me, not yet. We have a lot of eyewitnesses. Is that a receipt? Potentially, right? Potentially, but you know one thing though, I mean, the confusing part when I look at everything from all different angles, first I just try to use common sense or rational thinking, and if there was these people, Anunnaki or whatever they're called, and they had absolute control over these absolute terrifying hybrids, let's just say they controlled them, all right, allegedly. Let's just say they had the physical power to build the pyramids, which somebody did. That's fact. Then why do they need to hide in the shadows? These beings, these dark sons of bitches, are so dark and do so many dirty, disgusting things, but they're that powerful. Why would you need to hide in DUMBs? What's that? DUMBs, deep underground military bases or something, whatever it is. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're that dark and you're that powerful, you don't need to hide. I mean, look at what your average dictator does. They jail their political opponents. They kill people. There's been numerous dark countries, shithole countries with dictators, regimes running them, that blatantly send out death squads in the night, pull people out of their house, and disappear their asses. That's fact. I'm just giving an example of what you do when you have that ultimate power. You don't really hide it. You don't really hide your motives. You don't really hide your actions because the people can't do shit. That's what I'm saying. That's a confusing part. Right? You've got that kind of control. You've got that. You have it in you to do the most absolute, heinous, disgusting, dark things, which are going on. Yet you have to hide in tunnels underground and keep it so secret. What are you hiding from? Who are you hiding from? Right? I mean, I think it's pretty in our faces what the Western governments have proven they can get us to do, and what they do to us if we start to rise up and get pissed off. They just beat the living shit out of us, right? Beat the living shit out of us, shut down our bank accounts so you can't buy food, pay your bills, right? Make it so that you can't travel, right? But meanwhile, they convince our sons, dads, and uncles that they got to go fight for our freedom. Sorry, it's starting to look more and more like they're fighting to make sure we do not have freedom. In my eyes now, from what I'm learning. Anyway, well, we'll see what comes. But I sure would like to know what it is that all these beings, dark people, sons of bitches, what is it they're scared of? What makes them hide in the dark? I know the light is good. Light is good, but what makes them hide in the dark when they already basically have us overpowered? Don't they? Don't you think? Anyway, did you hear that growl? That was my stomach growling. Holy shit. I'm gonna have to get some food in there. Alright, looking forward to what you've got coming next. Pictures and videos. I'm holding you to it because so far when people write in and then promise to send that next, they disappear. They don't do it. Send it in. Okay, I'm going to read one more. All right, here we go. One more. All right, here we go. One more. It's titled Heads Up. Firstly, I just want to tell you, brother, how much I appreciate you for who you are, what you do, and what you stand for. I think that defining value is something that has fallen by the wayside in modern culture on a personal, individual level. So, thank you for being awesome. Appreciate the kind words, man. Appreciate it. You can use my name. It is Nate Wilson, aka Boots. In my youth, I was wildland firefighter in Oregon while attending Reed College. I spent many thousands of hours out in the forest, far from trails, and during the school year would routinely foray to the coast 3.5 hours away, just to run 8 miles through the rainforest and festoon myself with spider webs. I hate that, actually, myself. Spider webs in the face. I've had the experience of sudden fear for no apparent reason while hiking in the mountains off of the coast of Northern California. I was by myself. It was daylight, and a beautiful day at that. Windy and bright, with clouds pulling across the sun, drawing shadows behind them. The redwoods and pines were making their oceanic roar. I was in pig heaven, striding up the mountain slope in high spirits when suddenly all the hair on my body stood up. And I felt as if I was walking into what I could only describe as a thicker air or pressure. I ignored the feeling at first, but could not ignore the fact that the further I progressed up the mountain, the worse the feeling became, until finally I found myself standing in the middle of the forest with cold water running down my spine, all my hair standing at attention, and my eyes watering so badly I was crying. Looking around me, I could see no threat, and stood there for at least a full 5 minutes, completely still and scanning my surroundings. Nothing. Yet I could not ignore the overwhelming, profound, physiological sensation of imminent death that had crowded into my sunny, windy day, uninvited, unexpected, and not taking any questions. I turned around and descended the slope, having enough common sense to know that I don't even know what I don't know. A blessing of humility that has accompanied me throughout my life. Though on this occasion, it did not incite ridicule, dismissal, or being labeled as some kind of a conspiracy theorist. It just gathered me up and bundled my ass off that mountain. Stat. For years, I could not understand or contextualize that experience until your channel and the people sharing their experiences enlightened me. After working as a wildland firefighter in Oregon, I moved to New York City and decided to develop my skills as a wilderness EMT into becoming a 9/11 paramedic. In Brooklyn South, I spent 6 years in the company of some of the finest human beings I've ever met. My teachers, my friends, and brothers. I had to leave the field due to a career-ending injury in 2009. There are obviously a great many things in this world we are not privy to. I want to share with my brothers and sisters on this channel, people who care about the truth. I know that the Jim Jones jab issue has been mandated, politicized, weaponized, and MK Ultra pasteurized in order to incite and divide the populace. And I have to share that it no longer matters. The self-disseminating, self-replicating nanotechnology that has been delivered into the population by these medical therapies cannot be removed and has made the human race into one giant lab experiment. Whether or not you got the jab no longer matters. MD, PhDs using dark light microscopy have identified and isolated, self-replicating nanotechnology in the jabs. The 2020 and 2023 budgets for nanotechnology on the national United States government level are enlightening. National nanotech budget. And he actually put in a link. How can I do this? I'm going to forget to do this. I know it. Does that even show up there, I wonder? You see that highlighted link? Screenshot it. Just screenshot it while you're watching the video if you're interested, all right? You want to follow up that receipt. Okay? Screenshot right now. Initially, this self-replicating nanotechnology was only found in the blood of the vaccinated. But now it appears it is a self-disseminating vax that has infected everyone and every living creature by virtue of the physical properties of these nanoparticles. If you think this is science fiction, look up OSHA's regulations on nanotechnology, or dare to read the link I posted. It is incredible to me the emotional cowardice people display when it comes to facts and discoveries that are incredibly relevant to their well-being and continued existence. The fact that medical doctors are still injecting children with a product that had highly problematic safety trials according to its own producer's data, had no insert stating what was in said juice, and is now being shown to be a multi-pathway cocktail of physiological destruction. Everyone is talking about the spike protein and no one's talking about the nanotechnology Bill Gates just admitted to putting into the shots. And this is serious. Potentially extinction level shit. People, read the OSHA document on nanotech and the science behind it. This stuff is so small it goes between your epithelial cells and goes right into the body unopposed. DARPA was touting the virtues of hydrogel prior to the pandemic, a self-assembling microplastic nanotechnology capable of monitoring vital signs showing the location of the subject and question via the presence of a bioluminescent molecule called luciferase. No shit. And according to DARPA's own statements, hydrogel is capable of monitoring in real time the physiological and emotional state of its vector, as well as being able to administer minor surgical repairs in the field. I know how bleeping crazy this sounds. I've had more medical and scientific education learning about this stuff in the past few years than I've had in my entire life. I'm rewriting my entire understanding of physics and physiology. For those that are curious, look up gravidobiophysics, or biophysics. The dark field microscopy slides I've seen of blood, including real-time videos of same, are beyond the wildest science fiction movies I've seen in my lifetime. I don't know how we'll respond to what has been done to us. I'm a single dad and have a daughter, and I'm absolutely enraged. I do know the powers that be are ignoring this issue and trying to foment multiple distractions in lieu of accepting responsibility for what has transpired. Meanwhile, that liminal sweater-wearing 82% who funding nanoparticle technology injecting C mongrel is gleefully acknowledging his crime in a taped interview, and the world is still arguing about Russia and the Ukraine. Left versus right, or how many genders can or should exist inside a mentally intransient moron. Homogenized in hand-me-downs and existing as a lifetime hold between two mirrors, feigned understanding and obedience. So, I'm sharing the information I have with everyone on this channel in the hopes that somebody here might benefit from it or find motivation to confront the bullshit that we were all in together now. To be clear, the unjabbed can no longer take solace in the fact they didn't take the Jim Jones juice because, as Bill Gates has now professed, a self-replicating nanotechnology was in said jabs that is now already self-disseminated into the non-vaccinated. In addition, these same self-assembling nanotech technologies have been found in child Tdap, MMR, and HPV shots. What the actual F? Steve, I sure hope some of your brilliant scientist friends can get a handle on this stat, or we were all up the creek without an effing paddle, brother. There's a strong link between this technology and G5, but that's too much for this email. Much love to everyone listening to this. The time of picking sides is over. All the politicians know or are complicit in this travesty. It is time to adhere to fundamental human principles and values. Do we have a spine? Do we actually care? It's not now or never. This time is now. And it's always been. May the Creator help us help ourselves. Thank you again, Steve, for being you, with both barrels. Much love to you and yours. Here are some research links everyone should see. National Nanotech Budget. Okay, there's no links at the end of it. That's it. There you go, you guys. Tell you what, if you pit what he's had to say against everything that's been going down, he definitely has something to listen to there, right? But sadly, the majority of us have been conditioned to not say shit. Oh, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. What the population could do if they only knew what they could do, right? You know, it's funny. While I was, as an example, while I'm out, the numerous times I've been out going after problem wolves by myself in the middle of nowhere, trudging along in snowshoes. And I don't know how many times I had the thought of, if that pack only knew what they could do to me at any time they decided, but they don't. They're scared of me. Terrified of me. We're the same animals, right? That dude, Bill G, for me, can't believe he's still alive. Myself, I cannot believe he's alive. I can't believe it. I'll bite my lip. I think I stated my stance on remedies the other day. I can't believe the channel's still here, right? Now, on that note, I can't be scared. I'm not scared. If we lose the channel, we lose the channel, all right? But you know what? There's still the backup channel, the Roundtable of Knowledge, and I have another channel on Rumble that I rarely think of feeding, but it's there. So just so all you know, was it Pro Guide 66? I think is the name of my Rumble channel. Let's just say, if or when this channel goes kaput, I'm not stopping. We'll all find each other again. I'm not stopping. Take note of that, all right? I'm not stopping. There's many people out there sharing truth, and they're not going to quit. They're not stopping. They're being attacked. They're being attacked. Bad people are trying to take their voices away and stop them from speaking. There's a lot of bad going on. Evil is being exposed daily. If you're watching and listening, you will see. It's frustrating times, isn't it? I mean, man, I love life. I love doing so much shit in the real world. I love it. I have so many things I want to do. I feel like I'm running out of time. It makes me angry that I can't just do that with all my time, right? But instead, I have to put a whole pile of time into battling the dark pricks and trying to share truth, right? All this time is spent here. I could just be a selfish little bastard and go out and go fishing and hunting and hiking and doing things that make me laugh my frickin' face off with all my clown friends. But I know that too many people can't do that because of these dark sons of bitches, right? Withholding truth and knowledge, murdering people. There's no question about it. People have been murdered on a mass scale. Not a question about it. Anyway, that email said enough. I don't really need to add too much myself. Make sure you look into everything, you guys. Please, please, please get angry. If you're a parent, just look at your kids. Just take a look at your kids right now and try to picture what kind of quality of life they got ahead of them. How you can make sure that quality of life actually gets better, because right now it sucks dick. Right? Remember, when I was a kid, everybody grew up with a yard. Now all the kids are growing up with an elevator. Right? And a hallway. If that. Anyway, let's leave this on a positive note. I think Sarah said that her decal is winning. Remember yesterday I showed you these decals? I think I'm going to put one of these on the tailgate of my truck. I got a black pickup right now. I'm going to put one of these ones on the tailgate. And we'll see how many of us are around the planet. Our little badge of... Because it doesn't say what this is about, right? It doesn't say what it's about. But we all know. The Club of No Return. Right? It's obviously a conversation starter. Big time. And she's got these ones are in there too. The only thing about these ones, on my old pickup, I used to have a big one of these white ones across the back window. Had a dually. Excuse me, but when it comes to my hunting, it shows where I am. This kind of sucks. As well as my blacktail hunter stickers that I made. I sell those on a lot of pickup trucks, but I'm always hesitant to put it on mine because then people know where I'm parked and where I'm hunting, and that kind of sucks. But anyway, I'm going to go. I got stuff to do. The horses need to be trimmed. I got to get gear ready. I've got batteries charging all around me for the next coming days. And we really need to hear your truth. So, share my story at howtohunt.com. You might want to go out of your way to look into what this man just shared. It sounds like he's got receipts for everything, right? Which aren't too hard to find right now when it comes to those topics. We'll see how long this video stays up, right? Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get it to us.